Welcome back to Shota Aizawa Podfics. Today I'm going to be reading What is Lost is Never Gone Forever, chapters 3 and 4. Here we go. Chapter 3. Izuku wakes up slowly to the sound of his alarm ringing quietly under his pillow. He shuts it off and gets out of bed so quietly he could rival a falling feather. Stopping to listen for any indication that either of his parents are awake, he only starts getting dressed when he knows for sure he is in the clear. Once he is dressed and ready for the day, Izuku slips out the door, closing it softly behind him, and starts his journey towards school with his bright yellow backpack. After a 15-minute train ride, he finally makes it to school. Arriving at the classroom, he notices Oboro sitting on the window sill right next to his desk. Izuku is relieved he's the only one in the classroom at the moment due to the fact that he can then actually talk with Oboro, if only for a short while. Morning, Oboro. How are you doing today? Hey, Zuku. I'm doing great. You? Feeling a little sore, but other than that, I feel okay. I hate that you're in pain, and what makes it even worse is that I can't even do anything to help you. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I promise you, Oboro, I will be fine. You are not fine. Nothing about what you went through yesterday is classified as anything close to fine. It's not like it hasn't happened before. I'm used to it. It's okay. Well, that's the problem. You think that what your parents are doing is normal, when it very much is not. I know it's not normal, it's just, there's nothing I can do about it. You could tell the police, your teachers, or even Nezu, the damn principal. Oh, bro, I can't do that. Fine, just promise me you'll at least talk to me about it. Okay, I'll try my best. That is all I ask. Thank you. Before Izuku could say anything more, the door to the classroom was rolled open, revealing an extremely tired Aizawa who looked like he would rather be somewhere else. Only a few moments after he had crossed the threshold of the classroom did Aizawa's sleep-deprived brain finally take notice of him. Why are you here so early in the morning, Midoriya? I wasn't able to sleep and decided I would just come in early today. So you're just gonna sit in the classroom until school starts? No, I was actually gonna go to the library for a little while. Sure you were. Yeah, well, I'll see you later, Sensei. Don't be late to class this morning. Being late 2 days in a row will not do you any good. Yes, Sensei. Bye. He got a grunt of acknowledgement. Nearly sprinting out the door, Izuku takes a sharp left heading away from the classroom and towards the library, where he hopes to find a nice, quiet, secluded corner to hide away until it is school time. Opening the door to the library, he nervously waved hello to the librarian, who simply smiled back at him. After Izuku sat down, he proceeded to take out his analysis journal from his bag and make a new entry, which involves his classmates in updating old entries about some of his teachers. Wow, your analysis is outstanding. Oh, bro, don't sneak up on me like that. Sorry about that. I kind of forgot for a sec that you could hear me. It's fine. You just nearly gave me a heart attack. Oh, enough with that. Did you not inform me that you did analysis? Why did you not inform me that you did analysis? Because it isn't important, plus it's not even good. You can't be serious. What you were writing is amazing. It really isn't. Izuku, that analysis is better than most professionals. I really doubt that. Trust me on this. I have seen the types of things professionals write, and it is far below the level that yours is. I'm not a professional. Exactly, and yours is so much better. Who taught you to do that anyway? No one. I've been doing it since I could write. Really? And do you still have them? Oboro asked while grinning from ear to ear. Yes. Why? Can you show them to me, please? What? No. Why not? Because they are just a bunch of crayon scribbles. That's exactly why I went to see them. It would be so cute. It's not cute. Please show me. Ugh, I'll think about it. Yay! Thank you so much, Oboro replied without bouncing on his feet replied while bouncing on his feet like an excited toddler. I haven't said yes yet. Anyways, I think it's time to start heading towards the classroom. My classmates should be filtering into the school by now, don't you think? Sure, why not? I mean, today is the first official day of school. You'd want to make a better impression than you made yesterday. Don't remind me. Now let's head to class. Let's go then. I have a question for you. Hit me. Why do you hang around UA every day? That's an easier answer. Because Shota and Hizashi work here. Were they your favorite teachers or something? They are my favorite people, just not in the teacher sense. What do you mean? Shota and Hizashi are my best friends from UA High School. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be. I may not be able to communicate with them anymore, but in one way or another, I feel like I'm still a part of their life. You get where I'm coming from? I understand to some degree. Both Oboro and Izuku fell silent as they tread closer towards the crowded hallways belonging to the first years. Not before long, Izuku sliding the door to the Class 1A classroom open and walking in. He immediately notices most of his classmates have already arrived and are chatting in small groups throughout the room. Sitting down, he looks up at the clock to see if everyone still has 15 minutes left before school starts. With that in mind, Izuku decides to do a little doodling to pass the time, and soon enough, the bell is ringing, and Aizawa-sensei is walking through the door wearing the same bored expression he had the day before. Right, everyone, today is your first official day at UA High. If you didn't read the timetable like I told you to do, well, then you better take them out and read over them to find out what you will need to do for your first lesson. On another note, I'm going to take a nap. Do not wake me up. With that, Aizawa-sensei crawled into his sleeping bag and promptly fell asleep, leaving the class to their own devices. 20 minutes later, the bell rang, signaling the end of homeroom, which also woke up their teacher. Present Mike will be here shortly. Don't do anything stupid. With that, Aizawa turned on his heel and walked out of the room. After a few minutes, Present Mike walked in with a huge grin on his face, pointing finger guns at the class. Good morning, listeners. Hope you're ready for English. Yeah, cried the whole class in excitement. All right, then, let's get started, Mike yelled, using his quirk to amplify his voice. Today we will be doing a quick and easy placement test, just so I can see what we will need to focus on the most this year. This caused the whole class to groan in annoyance as their teacher handed out the test. Don't be worried, listeners. I promise it won't take up the whole lesson. Now, just take your time. As long as you finish by the time the bell rings and when you are done, come and bring it to me at the podium. Begin. Hizuku was flying through the paper with ease when Oboro spoke up. Wow, Izuku, you didn't tell me you were fluent in English. You got to tell me later who taught you. Flicking his eyes over to Oboro, he gives a short nod, acknowledging what he was saying and agreeing to explain everything when no one is around. After Izuku finished the test, he stood up and walked over to Mike Sensei, who was standing at the podium doing some paperwork. Sensei. Yes, listener, did you have any questions for me? No, I'm finished. Already? Wow, you're a fast worker, his English teacher replied as he reaches for the paper. Thank you. Feel free to do whatever you want for the rest of the lesson. Okay, thank you. No problem, listener. A few lessons later, lunch rolled around the hallways. The hallways were packed with students trying to get to the front of the queue so they didn't have to stand in a horrendously long line for the whole of lunch. After a short 10 minutes, he was finally able to sit down with his classmates and eat. Hey, Deku, I'm glad you got into the hero course. Deku? He repeated anxiously. Is that not your name? It's what Bakugo called you. Sighing in relief that it wasn't just a misunderstanding and not her being mean, he goes to correct her. No, my name is Midoriya Izuku. Deku is just what Hachon calls me. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. After that, they fall into silence for the rest of lunch. And soon the bell is ringing, signaling the end of lunch. Everyone packs up to head back to the classroom for their very first heroics lesson. I wonder which hero will be taking us, Kirishima asked the class. Can't wait to find out, Mina responded excitedly. Shush, they're coming, Jiro announced. Oh, in no less than 5 seconds, the door is being slammed open, and in comes All Might. The whole class cried in excitement. Who is here for their first heroic lesson in going plus ultra? He cheered loudly. This caused the whole class to scream in excitement once more. Chapter 4. The loud cheers of his classmates succeeded in causing All Might to grin in success. Well then, future heroes, let me not keep you waiting, so grab your costumes and let's head down to ground beta for your first lesson. Yeah, the class shouted in joy before rushing to grab their costume cases and head in directly of the locker room. Head in the direction of the locker rooms, where they slowly yet quickly get dressed. Izuku nervously walks alongside Oboro to the locker room, but not because he doesn't know what to expect, but because All Might had been acting off ever since he mentioned getting into UA. A voice from next to him brought him out of his thoughts. You okay? I don't really know. Okay, are you nervous about your first practical heroes lesson? No, it's not that. It's the fact I'm really excited about that. It's All Might that's worrying me. Has he done something to you? No, he hasn't, but he started acting weird a few weeks ago. Odd. In what way? I don't really know how to describe it. Alright, well, if you had to pinpoint, how would you describe it? Well, no. It's almost like he's rethinking something or regretting his choice. Regretting his choice? What do you mean by that? I'll tell you later when there's no one around. It's not a story for anyone here to know about. Okay, well, if you want, I could stay with you during your lesson as an extra set of eyes. Please, that would be really great. Sure thing. Now go get dressed. I'll wait for you. See you in a second. With that, Izuku walked into the changing room where the rest of his male classmates were already halfway dressed. Feeling worried about his chest, Izuku gets dressed in the toilet stalls. When he is done, he quietly slips out the door and back into the hallway, quickly spotting Oboro leaning against the wall a few meters away. Right, let's get going. Sure thing. Follow me, Izuku. So what did you do last night after I fell asleep? Well, I was looking through that art book of yours, and you are so incredibly talented in art. I mean, they looked printed. They're not that good. You have got to be kidding me. Your artwork is amazing. You should definitely show one or two pieces to Namuri. Let me think about it for a while before I make any decisions. Sure thing. Anyways, so after that, it's time for Shota to go on patrol. So I obviously joined him on it, even though I did it spiritually. I'm glad you enjoyed your night. I did. Thank you. Well, good luck with All Might, because we have officially arrived. Don't remind me. When Izuku looked into Oboro, he saw concerned blue eyes looking right back at him. Giving a weak smile in return, Izuku turned his attention back to All Might, who was waiting for everyone to arrive. Once everyone was standing in ground beta, All Might started explaining what we would be doing. That we would be doing battle trials in pairs, where one pair would be the hero team and the other pair would be the villain team, and so on until all the pairs were done. Every now and then, All Might would glance at him through his explanation, which only caused a small bit of worry in his brain to go bigger each time it happened. But before his thoughts could spiral out of control, he felt an icy, cool presence against his shoulder. Hey, you're okay. Just focus on the lesson and not him, okay? All he can do is give the slightest nod in response. Alright, future heroes, time to pick the teams. Midoriya and Uraraka, heroes, Team A. Midoriya and Ida, villains, Team B. Todoroki and Kaminari, heroes, Team C. Yaoyorozu and Sato, villains, Team D. Tokoyami and Kirishima, heroes, Team E. Mineta and Shoji, villains, Team F. Koda and Asui, heroes, Team G. Ojiro and Aoyama, villains, Team H. Zero and Hagakure, heroes, Team I. Ashido and Sero, villains, Team J. Right. Can teams A and B head to the building? Villains get 10 minutes to hide the bomb, and the heroes get to strategize during those 10 minutes. Good luck, Izuku. I'll be rooting for you. Grinning, Izuku walked alongside Uraraka towards the entrance of the building. that the battle would take place inside of. Standing at the entrance, he turned toward Uruka. So, could you please explain to me what your quirk does? Sure thing, she responded, while stepping a little closer to his personal space, while a light blush formed on her face. So, if I touch someone or something with all 5 fingers, I can cancel out their/its gravity. That's very useful, so during the match, Kashim will most likely come after me straight away. Why do you think that? We don't have the best history. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but enough of that. We have a battle to plan. Right, so Kachim will come hunting me down the moment he is allowed to. So you should enter through the roof access using your quirk while I enter through the main entrance. From there, you slowly and carefully make your way to the 6th floor, where Ida and I most likely is. Well, if I distract Kachan, this all allows you to get a hold of the bomb while without having to go against more than one opponent. While you're amazing at coming up with strategies, Uraraka says in a tone filled with wonder. Thanks. All right, teams, time is up. The heroes may now enter. Good luck. We got this. They both entered the building, one through the roof access and the other through the main entrance, being cautious of his footsteps. Izuku slowly makes his way through the floor and heads up the stairs to make to the 2nd floor, where he hears Kachan storming his way through the halls angrily. Deku! Izuku stops in his tracks, only to see Kachan round the corner into the hallway. There you are, Deku! Come and fight me, he yelled with anger filling his voice. Okay! With that, Kachan lunged for him, the hand reaching for his chest while popping explosions after explosion, as well as his signature grin plastered on his face. Prepare to lose, loser. Never. Izuku dodged every explosion that was sent his way, although that only made Kachan more angry and violent. Hey, Deku, you created the idea for these gauntlets when we were kids, so I hope you still remember what they do. But if you don't, I'll give you a little reminder, he said while holding up his right arm. Hand and gauntlet pointed at Izuku, and with his left hand hooked through the pin. These collect my sweat, so when I pull this pin, a huge explosion will blast towards you. Kachan carried on with a maniac grin on his face. I know, I remember. Good, then prepare to burn and die, you nerd. Over the intercom, All Might could be heard weakly trying to stop him. Bakugo, you'll kill him. Not if he dodges, replies Bakugo. With that statement, Bakugo pulls the pin, releasing the ignited sweat. Izuku can get out of the way fully before the blast hit him right in the shoulder, blasting him backwards into a wall. Before he blacked out fully, he was able to catch a few words from All Might. Hero team wins. After that, his ear started to fill with static, and everything went black. Sighing for what felt like the 100th time, Aizawa went to fill up his coffee mug again, so he can hopefully finish going over his class files before the end of the day. Hey, Sho, are you still going over files? Sadly, yes. Well, how many do you have left? 1. That's great. Who is it? It's Midoriya's file, and there are a few worrying points inside. Really? Like what? Well, for starters, there are so many negative comments from his teachers, but the majority of them are that he was always attacking his classmates. Well, that's not shining a good light on the little listener. No, it's not. But what caught my attention the most was the fact that Midoriya has never had court counseling before. Are you sure? Yes, there is nothing in his file about that, and he has zero control of his quirk. Are you going to speak to him about it? I won't talk to him about the teacher's notes, although I will keep an eye on him. But his quirk, I am definitely going to have a conversation about. Not even 5 minutes later, the doors to the teacher's lounge opened and walked Nezu, the principal of UA. Good afternoon, Shota. What do you want this time, rat? Nothing, Shota. I have simply come to inform you of something. What is that? What is that something? There was an incident during 1A's practical heroics lesson, and now Midoriya is in the infirmary, and since you are his homeroom teacher, you have to be informed. You have got to be kidding me. How did he end up there? All Might had your class do battles with their quirks, and Bakugo purposely went after Midoriya with the intent to do harm. Why am I always the one who gets put with the problem children? With that, Shota got up from his desk and slid out the door. Making his way down the school hallways, he lets his mind wander to how All Might completely disregarded his lesson suggestions that he wanted advice for, only because they had nothing to do with fighting, and instead costume critics with an obstacle course. Izuku didn't know how long he had been unconscious for. All he knew was that he was waking up bit by bit. Once the ringing in his ears had subsided, he was able to hear the voices of two people talking. One voice belonged to an old lady who he recognized as recovery girl, and the voice belonging to an adult male who sounded tired and dead with the day. Not that he thinks about it, the second voice is his homeroom teacher, Aizawa Sensei. Sensei? He asked in confusion. Good to see you're finally awake, he replied dryly. What are you doing here? It's the rules that the homeroom teacher is called down to the infirmary if something happens to one of our students. Okay. Right. Well, recovery girl has healed you as much as she could. We'll call your parents, but they informed us that they are working late and can't get off. So will you be okay to go home by yourself, or would you like to lift? Take the lift, please, Zoo. Oboro pleads from the corner of the room where he didn't see him. I'll be okay to go home by myself. Great. Now go home. Yes, Sensei. After some simple instructions from Recovery Girl, Izuku makes his way through the gates of UA and heads home where he knows his parents will be waiting for him, very angry that he managed to get himself hurt. Izuku is still caught up in his thoughts that he almost misses what Oboro had to say. Hey, are you okay? You're not in any pain, are you? Huh? I'm okay. You sure? What happened was absolutely awful. Really, I'm fine. Well, if you say so. I do. He replies as he stops in front of his parents' apartment, while wondering when he stops thinking of it as his home too. Alright everyone, that's the end of chapters 3 and 4. I will get back to you on chapter 7, and I do believe that chapter 7 is the last chapter until she updates it next. So I will see you on chapter 6 and 7. Thanks for watching, and this is Shota Aizawa Podfics. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.